economy to education, we're headed in the wrong direction. It's really, really time that we made some changes. As far as our economy, it's just really important to note that as we sit here today, we've lost more jobs in the last year than all 8 states that touch us combined. Our unemployment rate is at the highest rate it's been in 17 years. We have nearly 200,000 of our neighbors across the state who want to work that are instead are getting unemployment checks each week. That wasting of human capital, that wasting of opportunity. It is time that we started paying attention to what it takes to build people, to build valuable workers, the human capital that delivers for Main Street, and not just sit around and talking about what's going to happen on Wall Street. Now, one of the real challenges that I have seen, one of the real surprising things I've seen is almost over the last few years, discussions in politics about public education becoming what some folks call a wedge issue, a way to divide people. And that's just the opposite of the way George, Ann, and I and our families for so many years believed and still believe about public schools. There are stark differences between the agenda of the current administration and my opponent and where we want to go. And I want to lay out tonight kind of where he wants to go real quickly, which is pretty short trip. More importantly, where we're going to go as a state in these next few years. Now, my opponent has proposed yet another one of their voucher schemes, calling for taxpayer dollars to subsidize individual contributions to private schools. Folks, let's be real clear. No matter which way they call it, no matter what moniker they try to put on it, when you take public dollars and give those dollars to private schools, you are underfunding and cutting public schools, and that's a voucher, and if it gets to my desk, I'll veto it. It is, we must end this war on public education. Okay? We just have to end it. Okay? I mean, no vouchers, no tuition tax credits. You know, we can't. We've got to make sure that the public tax dollars we have are going to public schools. This war on public education is really so caught up on the other side, tearing down the very institutions that made this country and state great. It's almost as if they don't realize that the real strength of the future of this state we have is grabbing onto this new economy and building it with what I call human capital. The people of this state, educated, prepared to meet the new future. We don't need more of what Washington does, which are mandates like No Child Left Behind and national voucher programs, things that leave the money behind but the obligations here. What we need to do is recognize that all across this state, we got good teachers in every school district. We got parents sitting down each and every night worrying about what their kids are going to do, getting up each and every morning, trying to work with them to make sure they get their homework done and move on. We've got to make sure that we bring communities together so that education is once again a priority of the communities, not just a political position that some people talk about in elections. Now, as governor of the state of Missouri, I want to be able to walk into a classroom wherever it is in this state, whether it's in the Boot Heel or Northwest Missouri or the cities, and see the tools of a good education. See a clean and safe classroom, up-to-date textbooks, access to computers, a quality committed teacher, competent administrators. Ladies and gentlemen, we may not be able to control everything that goes on outside the classrooms, but a state that's committed to making sure that we have what's in those classrooms available for the fine professionals that are using them, now we can do that. We don't have to wait around for that. So I'm here tonight to talk in a little more specific way than I have in the past about kind of where I see this vision of what the plan is. First, I mean, we have to make education funding a budget priority of the state. I mean, smaller percentages of money going to the schools doesn't make sense. We have to fully fund the formula and go on out there and keep working hard to move forward. We have to invest in early childhood education. The kids need to get to school ready to learn. Okay? So we need to develop model learning programs. We need to support parents as teachers. We need to close the readiness gap, and I think especially close this health gap, especially when we have dollars out there available. Children's health care program dollars, folks, are 70% federal, 30% state. For every dollar we lay on the table, the feds give us $2 for these programs. We need to reach out and do that. Third thing we do is we need to increase graduation rates right here in our state. You can talk about what the numbers are, but the bottom line is they haven't gotten better. In 2007, dropouts across this country cost our nation $329 billion in lost wages, taxes, and productivity over their lifetime. We need to develop a consistent, specific measure to keep track of what's graduation and what's not. What is persistence of graduation? We need to count apples for apples and oranges for oranges and get the lines right. And we need to focus on what I call the fix-it. Okay? We need to have graduation plans for kids. When they come to school, they need to have those plans once they get to high school, knowing what it takes, and then help them move forward. This dropout rate not getting better, it's not the kid's fault. It's our fault for not laying out how valuable and how vital an education is. We're not going to blame the kid for that. We've got to lay out that, once again, making it a value across the state and across this country, that if you work hard and you play by the rules and you study and you get good grades, that you'll become independent and you're going to become able to take care of yourself and your family. That education will pay off for you. And as part of that, folks, in my view, we need to reinvent the senior year of high school a little bit. We need to make sure that all across the state of Missouri, that kids that are going on to college, in every high school across the state of Missouri, have the opportunity to get 1 semester's worth of college credit by taking challenging classes right there in high school. Get those AP classes so the kids, for 2 reasons. First of all, in reinventing that senior year for those kids going on to college, we need to make it that spring semester needs not to be spring break. It needs to be work, so that they're competing for jobs in a world workplace, and we need to not give up that senior year for our most talented. And you all know what I'm talking about. Far too many times, the best and the brightest kids get their credits done, take their last few hours and semesters, not get it for it. Think about what that would do if we had kids graduate that had 1 semester of college credit already done. Think how much that would save them and their families on the cost of education. And for kids that aren't going on to college, we need to get that plan so that they're going straight into technical school and getting technical training and life preparation school. We cannot continue to have this dropout rate where it is. We've got to fight it. We've got to lead and fight.